G'day, Wombat here, and this is the Roadie 2 Automatic Guitar Tuner by Band Industies. In today's edition of Quick Review, we've got this quite interesting little guy. This is the Roadie 2 Automatic Tuner. Now this is by a company called Band Industies. Now this is their second version. They have had one previously. It is, as you've probably seen, an automatic robotic style tuner, except instead of being on the headstock like some companies were doing a little while back, this one you hold in your hand. It is a great little unit. It feels really quality in the hand, and it's quite an impressive little guy. As I said, this is the second version. This one is for all stringed instruments, including 7 and 12 string guitars, and mandolins, ukuleles, all those kinds of things it will tune. And it's a pretty interesting little device. There are apparently 40 or more preset tunings in this guy here, as well as the ability to save your own custom tunings as well. If you use something that's a little bit out of the ordinary, or you use something that isn't actually in here, you can apparently get or save your own custom tunings in there, which makes this really handy. It's not technically a chromatic tuner like we used to with chromatic tuners, where we can just tune any string to any pitch. This one definitely gives you each individual string and what it should be, but it senses that and gets that to the pitch pretty quickly. So yeah, it's a nifty little instrument tuner here, and if you play a lot of different instruments, a lot of different guitars and things like that use a lot of different tunings, and I personally use about 3 different tunings on some of my guitars, this makes things very interesting indeed. So the first version had an app that you used with your tuner in conjunction with your contuner to make that sort of work. This is the second version, and this now has a screen. Now I'll show you the screen in a minute, but this has a little screen on it. There is an app available for this one as well, but this is a standalone tuner, so you don't need that app like you did with the first one. So that's really quite interesting as well. So yeah, let's get into seeing how it actually performs. So here it is close up, so you can have a bit of a look. It's pretty well finished. I mean, it looks pretty good and it feels pretty quality. On the back here is where the light is, and this is the button that you turn it on with. So you can see the light's pretty bright. So that light is also a button, and you've also got the wheel here as well. They're the only 2 controls on it, and there is your screen, as you can see there. So using the wheel, you can cycle between electric guitar, acoustic guitar, you can add another instrument, you can go back to your main menu. We're going to go with electric guitar today. And once you've selected what you want to do, you just push that light again, and it goes into it, and here's your strings. So there's your E, A, D, G, B and E strings. Now using the rotary wheel, you can cycle through those. If you don't want to tune all of your strings, you can just tune the one that you need to, but you can start at E and work your way through. It'll do all, and you don't have to change that. So if you're doing all of the strings, you just whack that on and it will tune it and then automatically go to the next one. Alright, so that makes things nice and easy. But if that's not the tuning that you want, you just hit that button again, and there you can change the tuning. You can delete the instrument type, you can change for a capo, and you can change tuning. Hit that button again, and here are some of your tunings. Now I said that there are 40 plus tunings in here. You've got to do a bit of getting around to get to them all, but these are the standard ones. You can switch them out. Open D, D modal, drop D. So there's quite a few, as you can see, rolling through. And if you know, and this is a good one here, half step down. I know a lot of players like to play a half step down, so that's already in here. You don't have to go worrying about that. But that's how you get through it there. You can also see the little battery icon at the top there, which shows you what sort of battery you got left. It is a rechargeable battery, but that's how you do it. And when you find the one you want, say open G, you just hit it and away you go, and you just tune it as you would normally. So it's a pretty nifty little system with the screen, tiny little screen on the top, and of course the just the rotary wheel and the button. Also, once you're tuning, you've got this LED in the front here, which also comes on, which I'm assuming is supposed to illuminate where you're trying to put it on or where you're trying to work. But it also beeps when it goes in tune, and when it goes in tune, this light goes green. So there you are. It's a pretty nifty looking little piece of kit. So, how's it go? I mean, what do I think? Is it any good? Does it actually do the job? I found that this thing did the job pretty well. It's quick and it works. It does what it says on the box. It tunes your guitar. You don't have to twiddle any tuning keys or anything like that. It does it for you, and it's pretty quick and it's pretty accurate. So that's the plus side of things. Lots of tunings, lots of accurate, can be quite quick. So what's the downsides of something like this? Well, this particular individual unit, there was a couple of interesting things with it. Firstly, the part where you put your tuners in, if you're running 6 in a line headstock, that was pretty quick. You know, it was like whack, 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 whack. If you're running 3 aside headstock, I found that a little odd at first, because you had to get your hand around, and there's a light on the back here that goes green when it is in tune, and I thought, well, how is that going to work? You're not going to be able to see it. But there's a little LED in the front here which you can see, and that blinks when it's in tune, as well as the light on the back. But it also vibrates when it's in tune, and it beeps. So when you're back around the other side of the headstock and you can't see that light on the back, you can still tell that it's in tune. It will let you know. And as I said, it does vibrate. I also found that this goes on most tuners pretty well, but if you have the tulip style tuners that Gibson and Epiphone occasionally like to use, they were a little on the difficult side to get in here. Needless to say, you can't do bass with this either. That they do actually have a bass Roadie specifically for bass. If you have a bass, you'll need to get the bass Roadie. But yeah, most importantly, it worked. I thought the tulip tuners and the 3 aside is just going to take a little bit of practice. So if you're tuning your guitar regularly, which you should be doing anyway, you'll get that practice and it'll become second nature before long. The other thing that I found interesting was there is a lot of torque in the little motor that's in this thing. So when you're holding it onto the key to tune, you really need to have a bit of a firm grip. I mean, you don't have to crush the thing, but it will twist in your hand a little bit if you're not careful. So that is worth noting. There really is quite a bit of torque in it. So what are these things worth? These things retail for $199 here in Australia. So I don't know what that is elsewhere in the world. You can occasionally get deals if you look at their website. But $199 is a fair amount of cash for a tuner. You can, by all means, spend a lot more on a tuner than that. But just for a tuner that you may just be using at home, if you're not using a floor tuner on stage, you could use it on stage. The LED is certainly bright enough. That's quite a bit of money, but I like it. I really think it's a pretty good product, and I'm pretty impressed. And I do note on their website that there are a number of pros that are starting to get into using this thing. So it is pretty good, and the fact that it now stands alone and has that screen and 40 plus preset tunings, I mean, this is a pretty good little unit. All right, so that is the Roadie 2 by Band Industries. So there you are. If you get your hands on one to check it out, it's quite a bit of fun actually. I've never had so much fun tuning a guitar, but there you go. All right, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And as always, rock on, guys.